Hello. So today I want to talk about something that I find pretty important, and by doing readings lately, has made me realize that we as a collective have a really twisted and toxic perception of love and relationships. Um oh my god, where do I start? So, I want to start first with this idea of feeling like there's only one person for us. Okay, I get it. We're human beings. We have that almost hardwired within ourselves to feel like there is one person out there, because when we find that one person, that's the fucking answer, right? Then all of our problems are going to go away. We're going to magically be better, and our life is magically going to be better. No, it's not. That's fantasy. That's Hollywood. And I think Hollywood has fucked up a lot of our perception of what relationships should be like. And it's very interesting because I don't think people understand that relationships are more of a lesson than anything else on this planet. And there are times when we do feel like this person is the one and the only one, but usually um it's our deep need to be loved and validated that has that happening, right? Not saying that you don't love this person, but I believe you can fall in love with almost just about anybody if you have that compatibility, right? So I used to believe in the whole thing of twin flames and soulmates, which to a degree I still do, but not the way that is kind of peddled. And I feel like it's so bad now because readers are using it as a way to like get people to pay more or to listen to them more. You know, like, oh, there's your twin flame, and right now y'all are in a separation, but don't worry, it will come around, and in a year they'll come back, but the runner chaser dynamic's still gonna be there, so one of y'all are gonna fucking run off again. That's toxic as fuck. The whole runner chaser dynamic of a twin flame relationship, I don't know who came up with that shit, but it's toxic as fuck, and it just represents toxic relationships. Like relationships that don't work out. If somebody keeps running the fuck off, then like maybe you should find somebody that doesn't. Maybe you should find somebody that can commit to you. Maybe you should find somebody that has better emotional availability. Maybe you should find somebody that has better communication skills. But we are taught, and Hollywood backs this up, that no, when you find somebody you have feelings for, you work it out and stick in there, and doesn't matter if they shit on you 900 times, that's part of love. Ugh. That's crazy as shit. And it's interesting because when I work with people, I really see how that thought pattern, that mentality is so ingrained in a lot of us, which is why a lot of us accept bullshit, whether it be from our jobs, our family, our friends, our relationships, even from ourselves. We give ourselves subpar shit. Okay? And because a lot of it is like, we have this belief of the underdog. We have this underdog mentality of, man, if you just keep pushing through all the bullshit, maybe one day it'll just all be worth it, and we'll just magically have $1,000,000 and magically have the relationship we've always wanted and have the body we want. And yeah, like, no, sorry. No, you have to understand what your worth is, first and foremost, right? And if you're in a relationship that keeps putting you through bullshit, do you think universe really, or God, or, universal source creator would want you to go through those things? Would want you to constantly be put through cheating or addiction or emotional abuse or physical abuse? Now, of course, we have to see our own part in the bullshit as well, right? So I was in a relationship back in 2016, and we were both a fucking hot mess, okay? We were dumpster fires, which of course is why we attracted each other, right? Because we attract who we are, even if their patterns of wound, like their wounded patterns are different, it's still the same. So, and a lot of times you end up with the opposite of what you are. So there is the, what is it called? The avoidant personality and the, shit, I am drawing a huge blank. But basically, in most relationships, there's one person that almost doesn't like commitment or doesn't commit or doesn't really, they're not emotionally available, right? And then the other person is the opposite. They're super emotionally available, but they're almost like overly emotionally available. They're very clingy, they're very codependent. And so like they both have this self-fulfilling prophecy though that they can never find somebody for them. So the avoidant is like, I always find clingy people, always find people that are very codependent, always find people that say I love you right away, and like they're just crazy. And then the other one, I think it starts with the name, but they're always like, oh, nobody ever loves me. I can never find somebody that will stick it out with me. I can never find somebody that wants just me. And so they end up together and it becomes toxic, but it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that they don't find anybody for them because they have that mentality already going in, which is interesting because, you know, this earth is all about polarity and duality, right? And so with my relationship, I'm a person, I don't fall in love easy. People fall in love easy with me. But, like, I just don't. Usually my relationships last a month and I'm like, you sneeze too much, I'm out. You know, or something. I always find something. And I know that's part of my non-committal ways, right? I was the avoidant. So I actually ended up getting with somebody that he would go back and forth between those two dynamics, the avoidant and the non-avoidant. I forgot what it's called. Oh, that's going to bother me. But like I felt this magnetic pull towards him and I was like, oh man, he must be the one. I've never felt like this for anybody ever. He has to be the one. And I remember telling him one time, I was like, I fucking feel like I am just stuck in your gravitational pull. Like, you know, with planets, I've just felt no matter how much shit we went through, I just couldn't give him up. Even when I tried to be with other people, I just couldn't give him up. And I thought he was my twin flame because I started hearing about that concept, right? And that made me stick around longer than I should have because I thought that I was supposed to work it out because it was part of some grand, you know, cosmic scheme of, man, if we could just work through our shit, like, oh my God, it would be utopia between us because this is my one and only twin flame boo bear. No. So I had to really stop listening to readers for a while because it was getting me fucked up in my head about the whole twin flame journey and there's one person for you. This is your soulmate. It's a bunch of bullshit. Now, I do believe, I don't know if I said this already, I do believe there's people that come into your life for a reason. Like, I feel like he was supposed to really be a catalyst for my awakening. But free will always exists. I could have decided to never work on myself and still be the shithead I was back then now. Like, I could have still be a hot mess, right? I believe that there are certain people that what is in their chart is very compatible with your chart. So the guy that I am with now, our synastry charts are like wild. It's very opposite on everything, but it works together. Like I'm a Gemini sun, he's a Gemini rising. I'm a Sagittarius rising, he's a Sagittarius sun. I'm a Virgo moon, and he's a Pisces moon. So each of the big three, at least, they're opposite, but they work together very, very well. And a lot of the things that I have to learn, like I have to learn to be more emotionally available. And I learned that through him because he's very good with those things. And then he has been learning boundaries and standing up for yourself and owning that confidence. And he's been learning that through me, which I've just had to learn the real fucking hard way, right? So even though, like, I truly believe that if something wasn't to work out between us, I would find somebody else that was compatible as well, and that we could do a long-term, a life partner, right? And so I think that's important for people to understand is that, yeah, there might be people that are more suited for you, but literally it's just up to you. Who do you want to make a life partner? Who has the qualities that you're looking for, but that it's synergistic with your qualities, right? And one thing I had to really learn also is I had to be a better person if I wanted a better person, right? I had to stop being such a shithead if I wanted somebody that wasn't emotionally abusive, right? I had to stop gaslighting in order to get somebody that wasn't a gaslighter. And I think that's a lot of what we miss in relationships is that we are looking for somebody to solve our problems. And we don't even we're not aware of it consciously, but we think if we get the right person, all of our problems are going to be solved. World hunger is going to be gone. World war is never going to happen. Like that we're just living in a utopian society. And like, I think our journey in our lives to find love is that we got to find it in here first. And I know that's so goddamn corny, but it's so true. After leaving that boyfriend we dated from 2016 off and on to 2018. Once I left him, I really understood, like, okay, in order to find somebody that is good for me, I have to do a lot of changing of my patterns, my behaviors, but also, like, I need to learn to love myself. Because I will never, ever let another person on this fucking earth make me feel less than I am. And I think that's a very important lesson for us to learn is that you have to have this unshakable confidence within yourself. You have to love yourself so much. And this is going to be an unpopular opinion, and I don't give a fuck. You have to love yourself so much and be happy with yourself so much that if you were never to settle down and get married, you'll be fine. And it was until that point when I finally was like, you know what? I wrote down a list of qualities and things that I wanted in a person, and spirituality was one of them. I was like, I am on this path and I cannot be deterred from my path. Therefore, I need somebody that is going to walk this spiritual path with me, right? But also walk the path of, material and physical things that I wanted to do with my life as well, And I really realized that the basis of a relationship or marriage really should be somebody that's walking the same path as you. Because that's when real, like, fireworks can happen, I believe, because y'all can move together in life instead of, one person going up and one person going this way, right? There's a lot of marriages that I've seen, unfortunately, that they become disconnected and separated because they have completely different hobbies, completely different passions, completely different belief systems. Not saying it can't work, but that's not going to work for me. Like, I need another me, and maybe that's the Gemini in me, and the Sagittarius. Like, I need somebody that's going to be on that path. I just, from past relationships, I really had to realize, like, okay, what is really important to me, right? So from dating, I set that standard for myself, and I set standards in dating, as in, if you don't, this was a bit much, but I was like, if you don't tell me good morning enough or like often, if I'm not on your mind for you to text me at least a couple of times a day, like, I'm not fucking with you. And I hated the excuse, well, I'm sorry, I was so busy. Like, you went to the bathroom at one point, and I know most people take their phones in the bathroom with them, especially dudes. because y'all sit on the toilet for fucking ever. It's weird. Anyways, so like, that's bullshit. At some point, you had 2 seconds that you could have brought up your phone. Hey, I'm busy, but just thinking of you. Send. Right? We need to do better for ourselves and stop taking excuses. And that's another thing I had to do. I mean, there were guys, man, there was this one beautiful guy. Ugh, I fell for him so hard. He was beautiful to me, like physically everything I wanted. And he was so fucking smart. And like, we did have things in common, like gaming and working out, but like, that's kind of where it stopped. And he didn't really put in effort. Like, I was the one that was like, hey, we should hang out. And we would hang out, but man, that shit got fucking old. And so I finally just gave up, you know? And I mean, we still like talk here and there, but it's literally for gaming purposes only. Or like, you know, I ask him questions about animation and stuff like that. Just to get information, right? And there were other guys like that I met that I definitely could have dated. I definitely could have had a relationship with, but something told me like, you really want to go down this road again? You want to go on a 1-month journey again? And I had to really be firm with myself that if it didn't meet all the criteria, like, I needed to let it go. If the person wasn't really invested in me, I needed to let it go. If the person wasn't interested in long-term things, I needed to let it go. If the person wasn't interested in being, you know, a father figure because I had a son, I needed to let it go, right? If the person didn't like kids, kick rocks. Like, you have to be so super selfish when it comes to dating. And people are like, selfish, I can't be like that. No, we all fucking selfish. Okay, to be real, we're all selfish. So why wouldn't you be selfish with something that is going to affect the rest of your life and possibly your kids if you have kids? Like, you are a piece of shit if you're not selfish in those areas, because this will affect your whole life and your kids' life and your potential future kids' lives. So, you know, I was really focused on finding a life partner. I gave up the whole notion about soulmates and twin flames and cosmic synchronicity where the fucking skies will open and that's how I'll know that that's the person I'm supposed to be with. No, the person you're supposed to be with is your own fucking self. You came in alone, you're gonna die alone. So that's the first and foremost, most important relationship you should be working on, is the relationship with your own damn self. And working on how can you be a better version of yourself to others, but more so of to yourself. You know, I had to realize that I didn't love myself in a lot of the ways that I was treating myself, that I was, you know, getting blackout drunk a lot of the times, that I wasn't guarding my energy when I needed to be, that I was just more so looking for a warm body to be next to me rather than somebody, a partner for the rest of my life. And the whole idea of the soulmate made almost like it took accountability off the table. And I think maybe that's why it's such a popular idea of looking for your soulmate, because then you don't have to do a lot of the work. Like, you can just be like, well, that's my soulmate. Yeah, he, you know, hits me all the time, but he's my soulmate. What can I do about it? It's just, you know, it is what it is. No. I think it's more so that we can make it happen, and it's more up to us than anything on this in this universe. You know, and I do believe that, you know, destiny and fate will help us get to find those people for us, but there's not just one. Like, the guy I'm with now, I really feel that, like, there was a lot of events at play that the timing we met each other was on point. I think if we would have met earlier, it would have been a disaster, because we were both a disaster, right? But we met a point in time where we were both ready to be better versions of ourselves and to work towards our future. So, but I mean, like at any point, I had a decision to walk away if I wanted to, but something kept telling me, like, no, you have a problem with commitment. Like, this person checks off all the boxes. Like, go ahead and go for it. And I'm glad I did. And it's still, something that I worked through 2 years later, as in trying to stop my old patterns and behaviors of as soon as something isn't working, I just dip, you know? And I have to remind myself that it's not in this eternal search for the one, but it's the one for you. And what has kept us together is me seeing all those qualities about him that I have never found in another person. But I will say that I could find it in another person if we didn't work out. But I just really enjoy him. We have so much in common. We make each other better people. He's a great person. So I really feel like he is what I want in a life partner. Therefore, I will make it happen, right? And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Then I just move on. And a lot of people would be like, well, that's fucked up that, you're just so casual and callous about it. No, man, a lot of it, we got to detach from outcomes. And that's why we get in really stupid ass situations. And we are so fearful of like sunken costs that we put too much time into this to invest, to leave. Like, no, at any time something doesn't feel good, but it's not your shadow self coming forward. It really is the situation itself. Try to correct it, try to make a compromise. And if there's none, you fucking go. You leave, because you are important above all else, period. But in order to make those tough decisions, you have to love yourself above all else too. And doing love readings, I don't even want to do them anymore, because people are just so fucking crazy. And they just want to hear what they want to hear. I had a reading recently where I tried to tell the person, like, I don't think y'all are going to be together, but I think what universe is trying to do is show you your shadow self so you can work on yourself and evolve. Like, this is supposed to be a changing point in your life. And through working through this, heartache and heartbreak and trying to work on those things that, you could have done differently, it's going to really, really propel you forward into life. She did not want to fucking hear none of that. All she wanted to hear is that he was going to come back around and they were going to get back together, and that he's not fucking anybody else right now. At that point, I was just like, I'm not even going to talk anymore, because if you're not willing to hear the messages that I'm getting, and if you literally just want to find somebody that will tell you what you want to hear, you're going to keep going through the same bullshit you went through. And y'all are going to break up again. Bet money on that, because you're not in this for self-evolution. You're in this for dumbass fucking reasons, just to make yourself feel better. And I understand, when I was going through with my last relationship, I wanted to hear, oh, everything's going to work out. Everything's going to be fine. He's going to get better. You're going to get better. Yata. Like, not everything. We have to take shit at face value. Okay? We have to get out of this fairy tale land and land of denial that a lot of us live in. And we just have to see what is really presented to us and go forward with that information, and how can we do for the best for ourselves, and we have to learn to let fucking go. I told her, just detach from the outcome. When you really just start working on yourself and start shining and start healing, like, there's a possibility that he might come back, but at that point you might not even be interested anymore. Because what you thought was good for you at this level is no longer good for you at this level, right? Didn't want to hear that. She didn't want to hear anything about lessons. She didn't want to hear anything about work, personal development, nothing. I was just like, this is not my life. This is not my story. I'm not going to keep trying to cater to people that just want to fucking hear what they want to hear, and that will jump from reader to reader, where until they find somebody that makes them feel good and tell them what they want to hear. Okay, keep living a messy ass life because I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I have dropped so many people in my life because they want to be those people. They want to be messy ass people and they don't want to work on themselves, but anything happens, they automatically blame somebody else. And instead of taking time to really learning to love yourself and learning to be alone and be happy alone, I don't have time for that, man. Sorry. And maybe I know that's part of the Virgo in me because we bitches. But, also the Sag of just like, I just got to keep going. And if you're not on this journey of trying to be better or fulfilling like evolution, I just don't have time for it. And that's, we have to really come to a space within ourselves that we love ourselves so much, prioritize ourselves so much that, our boundaries are very clear with people that if you are draining me or if the relationship is more on the negative than positive side, I don't have time for it. And, probably with me, it's a little more, it's a more present issue than most, maybe because of the work that I do and the work that I am planning to do, and just I have to be so careful with my energy and guard my energy or just like my boundaries so much because I don't want to be taken off track. Like I have so much shit to learn and so much shit to do that like I just don't want to be taken off track. And anybody that will come into my life that is a distraction or just taking from my energy, and no. So I know I rambled a lot, but the main points are: stop believing there's only one person for you. Okay? I really realized in this dating season before I met my soon-to-be husband, that you can fall in love multiple times and like love will happen at any point when you spend enough time with somebody that's compatible. I think that's why arranged marriages work so well. They're not in this eternal mystical search for the one. It's you're arranged based off compatibility and like what parents think, and you go. And love is formed through mutual respect of each other and a mutual friendship and partnership. And it works because that loyalty is formed within the beginning. And also they both know, okay, this isn't based off of fleeting feelings. This is based off of a foundation that we're building of being partners and building a life together. Right? So stop believing that there's only one person on this fucking earth for you. And if a relationship feels like a fucking Thunderdome, Mad Max Thunderdome, then like you really need to take a step back and think about like, yeah, even though I love this person, is this the best thing for me? Is this the best? Would my higher self want this for me? Right? What lessons can I take from this? What can I work on myself in order to avoid this in the future? What pattern of people am I attracting? And go forth with that information. We need to set really strong boundaries, especially the more compassionate of a person you are, the bigger boundaries you need, because a lot of us have bleeding hearts and there are a lot of sharks out there, So we need to set really strong boundaries on the people that we let into our lives. And also we need to realize that a lot of times we need to focus on ourselves. And when we are really genuinely wanting to focus on ourselves and work on ourselves and elevate ourselves, the right person will walk along into our lives, right? It's okay. Also, I just heard like you need to change your mindset if you're having real problems like attracting a good relationship, right? Stop saying, oh, people ain't shit. I can't trust anybody. I've been cheated on so many times. It'll probably happen again. Or, people ain't trustworthy, or there are no good guys or good girls out there left. That's one thing that I kept saying to myself and saying to people when I was single after my last relationship, even though it was a fucking terrible relationship. I kept saying, there are good guys out there, though. And when I'm ready, I'll meet that good guy. And there was a lot of good guys that I met along the way, but they just weren't for me, right? And I just kept saying, there are good guys out there. It's just, they're not for me. But one day I'll meet my good guy. And I have. He is one of the best people I've ever met in my life. And not just because he's my boo, but like he genuinely has one of the biggest hearts I've ever met. And like he just radiates just goodness. And it's so refreshing just to be with somebody that just has that goodness about them. Because that's really hard to find. I don't have that. I'm working on it. Words have power. So whatever you're looking for is looking for you. But you have to be really honest on where are you vibrationally? What are you speaking over your life? What wounds are making patterns of relationships in your life? And setting firm boundaries and standards for yourself. Just like you wouldn't shop for a car that didn't have an engine. Stop looking for people that don't have things that you want. Or that have things that you don't want. Okay? There are a billion people out there. Stop settling for less. Stop settling for less. You don't have to settle for less. All right? When you stop settling for less, you're going to find what you're looking for as long as you're working on yourself too. Okay? You can't find Mr. Right if you Mrs. Wrong. Because that would be a really cruel joke, right? You have to be the vibrational match of what you're looking for. All right? Love you guys.